You're like me and you weren't born into generational wealth or any wealth for that matter at all. This video, we're going to be talking about a couple ways that you can become rich without the generational factor. Now, if you're an individual that was born into 50, $100 million, video might not be for you because you already have it figured out because you've already been born into that generational wealth. But for the rest of us, number one, having a financial plan. This is imperative. This is probably one of the biggest things that it took me a little while, probably about the early 30s to really come up with is what does wealth look like to you? What does really having money look like to you? Is it about being able to take vacations? Is it about not worrying about, the paycheck to paycheck and the bills that are coming in? What does it mean to have a financial plan and what kind of goals do you want to achieve? What do you consider wealthy? For some people that are considered $100,000, $200,000 is going to be considered wealthy depending where you come from. As a nation, we're talking $1.25 million is the average that people think that it is going to cost or the price tag to retire, but also to be wealthy in America. So having a plan and really knowing where you're going to come from. If it's going to be the debt elimination, if it's going to be, I want to have so much in the bank and an investment account in my 401k, again, this is really the wealth building tool and the strategy on how you're going to get there. If you're not following it, if you're not on course, what are the adjustments going to look like? Now, looking at number two, creating the safety net. Now, this, of course, is the emergency fund. For a majority of individuals, they don't have an emergency fund. They're living paycheck to paycheck. But I know a lot of them, and I do talk to a lot of them through financial counseling. The paycheck to paycheck methodology is further kind of brought on by not budgeting, not having financial plans, not really being able or willing to cut expenses, even though they are wants. So I've seen the need category if you're doing, let's say, a 50, 30, 20 budget, but overall the need category is 50%. The want category is 45%, leaving next to nothing or even negative income at that point because they are not budgeting properly. They are not willing to make the cuts and really create and balance the budget or at least come out ahead. A lot of people are not willing to do this. That might mean stopping, going out and eating, even cutting it back when it comes to dining out. So eating more meals in, doing more meal prep, maybe, cutting some of the expenses like yoga, extracurricular activities, looking at subscription plans, looking at, possibly getting a cheaper housing, possibly getting a cheaper car. These are things that people are not willing to take the step into. Being able to build an emergency fund, being able to repay and eliminate your debt in its entirety. Again, it's going to take sacrifices to, depending on your budget and where you're at, to repay, start investing, getting on the other side of being just completely debt free and not being stuck in the paycheck to paycheck and not being stuck in the debt cycle that we see for most individuals, which brings us to number three, getting out of debt. This is the absolute game changer of your life. If you're getting your paycheck and a majority of your paycheck is going to debt, that means that you are working, you are spending your time and effort at a job just to pay interest, just to pay back the debts for money that you've used previously or for the things that you have in your life today. When I look at car payments and they're looking at $7, $8, $9, $1,000 a month for a car payment, there is no need for it. You don't need this $70,000 truck when you can work with a $30,000 or $40,000 truck. It is just the overabundance of people. If you have the money, sure. If you can swing the payment, no problem. You're completely debt free. Absolutely. If that's your bag, if that is exactly where you want to put your money and where you feel the importance of it lies, buy what you want to, guys, but you got to have a plan. You can't be sitting on $70,000 in debt and then go buy a $70,000 car because you just wanted to and it really felt good. Eliminating that debt and getting out of that debt, being able to get your paycheck, retaining, keeping a majority of the paycheck for paying your bills, for debt repayment, if that is the case, but also for investing. The more, or essentially the less that you're paying in interest, the more money you're keeping, the more money and the more power you control to go ahead and invest and create wealth, which again, without the generational wealth, we know it can be incredibly hard. Number four, we get into earning more money. Now, again, when it comes to being rich, you have to have an ability to not only cover your bills, but you have to have a way to earn money. This might mean getting a better job, getting a pay raise, working more hours. For a majority of Americans, which I believe at this point it is almost 50% of Americans have some sort of side income, side hustle, something that is bringing additional income into the house to really supplement. Now, a lot of people are supplementing the income for, again, the bill repayment or the investing, but a lot of people are supplementing the income because they're not budgeting properly, because they have so much debt. The money that is coming in is not going towards debt. It is going to maintain the exorbitant lifestyle that they have created for themselves that has gotten to the point where if they don't have that side hustle, they're not going to be able to maintain the same status of living that they have. And then, of course, number 5, aggressively cutting expenses. This is huge, guys. This means cutting restaurants, vacations, getting rid of an extra car, downsizing your house, downsizing your car. There's a lot of super aggressive ways that you can take this. But again, a majority of people that I deal with when it comes to the budgeting, when it comes to figuring out the financial education piece, most of them will not take the measures that they need to get out of debt. If you're making $4,000 a month and you have a $2,200 housing payment, the math is not going to add up. When you look at over 50% of your income per month is allocated to your rent, allocated to your mortgage, you're not going to have enough with everything else. There's a very, very small percentage that could pull that out. But if you're looking single income and you have a high mortgage, might be time to scale that back, might be time to cut that back to at least in a temporary aspect, repay some of the debt, get some money invested, get some of the emergency fund really built up before you're really hard and really into the place where you can't get out of. I've seen a lot of individuals as of recently that are also looking at bankruptcy attorneys, that are looking at turning in vehicles that they can't make the payments on. And again, a lot of this is getting over their head at a very early age. They start getting student loan debts. Student loan debt transitions into mortgage debt. Mortgage debt also carries a lot of credit card debt, a lot of finance debt. Then when you couple on top of that the crazy amount that we're paying right now for auto loans with the higher rate across the board on everything, life is expensive if you don't budget properly. Now, again, it doesn't mean cutting out everything in your life. I don't want you to go through and say, I don't do anything. I sit at home. I don't even have a TV. I don't have anything. If you really want to go frugal, if you really want to go extreme, there are an incredible amount of things that you can do for entertainment that are completely free. There are so many things, even in a community like where we live in Michigan, there's a lot of stuff that you can do that is absolutely free, that the entertainment and the costs are covered by a ton of different things, even a lot of county programs, a lot of fairs, a lot of things, again, that are completely free. And the final one, investing. If you ever want to be rich, period, short of hitting the lotto, investing is going to be the way that you are going to make your money. When you start putting money into a Roth 401k, when you start putting money into that Roth IRA, being able to invest it, you are going to be wealthy if you're doing this over a consistent amount with a good amount over many years. It is proven. It is, I mean, looking back at generational wealth, even looking at Warren Buffett, looking at Charlie Munger, looking at all of the larger investment individuals, even people who started their own business. When you look at Elon, putting money away and investing money into either building up a business, which of course the business can have a lot of positive cash flow, things of that nature, but investing is the place for a majority of individuals to really start building wealth. Again, when you start going and putting contributions in, we are goaling at 15%. We want to see 15% of your income going into investment accounts. This is going to mean that over the course of your entire working career, if you're sticking at that 15%, you're going to have a ton of money. Even seen an individual that made a comment on the YouTube video a little while ago. I only put in 5% for my entire career. I have over $500,000 in my 401k right now because I put in that 5%. Now, again, imagine if that would have been 15%. That 500k that they have invested would probably be 2 million plus just based on compounding interest. If not 2, 3, maybe even $4 million, depending on the performance and the contributions that go in there. The higher the contributions, and we always say, pay yourself first, but you have to eliminate the debt. It is imperative. So guys, I hope you get some insight in this. 6 ways to become rich without generational wealth at all. You can do it. Again, myself, not coming from parents that have any money whatsoever, not even retirement funds, nothing of that nature, nothing saved for retirement. And we're well on our way for $1 million mark well before we're 50, hitting 2 million by the time we're 60, if not even higher, through the investment option that we're doing. So guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.